I'm going to move on to some stuff.
Get off my phone! Get off my phone, you little pinhead!
That's right. Get off my phone, you little pinhead. I have been ordering a lot of books lately, mostly paranormal and conspiracy in nature. It seems somehow that Clown Baby and I did a little bit of a flip-flop. Now, I'm reporting on the strange cryptoids and creatures, and Clown Baby is now doing some more political stuff, which I'm okay with. It gives us each a break.
Yeah, well, it's good for, a couple months, and then you'll want to take your break. Although I might do some Missing 411 next show, because I want to read some more Hunters. And I love making the videos, because people get so ass hurt.
People really get upset at our Missing 411 videos on YouTube for whatever reason. I don't get it.
By the way, I was looking at the Can-Am Project YouTube, and some of our Missing 411 videos have more views than some of theirs.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And also, Jeff, I left the Pennsylvania UFO and Bigfoot casebook there. Please read through there. There are a lot of cases that are very intriguing.
All right, will do.
Read through that. Right now, I'm going to read a few paragraphs from a few cases of this most recent book that I got called Humanoid Encounters. The Others Among Us. And these are encounters from 2010 to 2015. It's just a book full of weird encounters categorized in certain ways, like is it a close encounter of the third kind, or is this like a time shift, or these Bigfoot sightings? They're all categorized in some way, so it's pretty fun to go through and to kind of dissect some of this stuff. So this first one is from Botswana, and this happened on March 5th of 2010. According to published reports, children at a primary school in the small village have become victims of an alleged hairy sex dwarf. Parents of hundreds of children attending the primary school have kept their kids home from school until the attacker has been caught. Over the past 12 months, several children have been molested, sometimes repeatedly, by an unknown assailant described as a short, hairy creature with cat-like features and long claws. Following the attack, what's that?
Is it Danny DeVito?
They are kind of describing Danny DeVito of Twins fame in Taxi.
It's Nightman.
Could be. Following the attack, the victims, ages around 12 years of age, are found in a comatose state, which they have remain in for up to 4 hours. A physical examination revealed that some of the children had also been sexually abused by their attacker. Word quickly spread amongst the villagers that the mystery child rapist was the Tokoloshi. According to African lore, the Tokoloshi cannot be seen by adults as it carries a magic pebble in its mouth to make it invisible to grown-ups. It is also said to have an incredibly large penis, which it slings over its shoulders.
Nice.
Wow.
Residents have expressed anger and frustration that the village chief has not taken matters seriously. Now, I read this because this is one of the only mentions of where they talk about the genitals of these weird creatures.
Yeah.
This one is so big that it has to be slung over the creature's shoulders, Danny DeVito's shoulders. If you can imagine Danny DeVito walking around in, African village, molesting children with a huge cock slung over his shoulder, he's probably using that giant penis to bludgeon these kids into comas. That's the only thing I can assume.
It's like, this is like his roofie. He just beats him with a penis.
I'm going to beat you with my cock.
Good God. Look at the size of that cock.
Very bizarre. I don't think we've heard a story like that in all of our cryptoid research thus yet. Very interesting. Found it to be just bizarre. Bizarre.
It's a rape troll.
Yeah, and a lot of the stories we read are from America. They're from England or Australia. Jeff has touched on some stuff from Europe. But it's nice to hear things that are from all across the globe as well. All right, this one is from Italy, Rome, to be specific. A 30-year-old male was walking his dog in a field next to a wall when he saw what initially he thought was a person approaching. Suddenly, his dog began to growl and bark at the approaching stranger. Trying to restrain his dog, the man noticed that the person did not seem to walk, but float inches above the ground on what appeared to be a cushion of air. The stranger's figure was approximately 2 meters in height and pitch black in color, and apparently intended to attack both the man and his animal. The dog owner attempted to drag his pet away, but was overtaken by the strange figure. A wild hand-to-hand fight did not prevent the witness from noticing certain features on the mysterious being. The face was shallow, as if skinless, and it had large white eyes. Its body was covered in strange garment, but seemed to be more robotic in nature than human. The witness, a black belt in karate, struggled with the being and punched it in the area, what he thought was the sternum, on several occasions. Suddenly, the dark humanoid jumped back and took a tremendous leap into the air, disappearing into the sky as if it was sucked away by an invisible force. Around the same time, in the vicinity, others had noticed a bright ball of light the size of a half moon hovering in the area. It suddenly began to oscillate at a high rate of speed and vanish into the sky. The main witness immediately ran to the house and notified his family, who immediately noticed a mysterious rash on the man's arms and face, resembling first-degree burns. The witness then notified the police and was instructed not to tell anyone about the bizarre encounter. A few days later, the area in which the encounter occurred was mysteriously fenced off, but was reopened to the public a few days later. Very interesting. Creepy. I like this one because there's somebody who knew hand-to-hand martial arts and decided to fight back, punching and kicking, with his dog there growling and helping him.
With the giant dick slinging around.
Well, this is a different case. All right. There's no description about a giant dick in this one.
This is a different. This
is a different case. This was in Italy. The giant dick one was in Africa.
Oh man, it's hard to keep track of all these.
I know, Joe, but you got to try. You got to try, dude.
This one, what you like this because he knows an Italian sort of a kung fu, or is it like a?
He just said karate. I like this one because this was a mention of someone not being scared and running away. This is one who decided he had no choice but to confront this entity and kick and punch it as best he could. He wound up with like maybe first-degree burns on his body, but he was able to get away. But the being must have been damaged or scared because it leapt back and leapt into the air. It got the fuck out of there. This creature got the fuck out of there. It wanted nothing to do with Earth Kung Fu.
It may have been old Dino bouncing them right out.
Could have been, yeah. Get out of here. Get out of the club, buddy.
It's Italian culture. They don't put up with that
You've
stuff.
been drinking too much. Get out of here. We don't. I don't know. We're not in the goth music around here, kid. Take off that.
What do you get an eyeliner on for? What are you gay?
Sorry.
I can read another one here. I'll see if I can read a bit of a shorter one. I often try to. I've been trying to find ones that resemble stories from Missing 411. I'd like to see if I can find any kind of correlation between Missing 411 and some of these stories that I found in this book. I found a few, like when it comes to hunting and camping, but nothing out of the ordinary, nothing crazy. But I just got the book.
Let's look at some dogman sighting areas and see if there's any in the that might fit a description of or that in Wisconsin for the man bat.
Yes. Now, this one is one that we have read maybe about a year or two ago, but I think we could revisit this one. It's not bad and definitely intriguing. A group of 3 mountain bikers reportedly saw a reptilian humanoid last week in the middle of a trail located in the Sonora Desert. Bicyclists were riding the 24 hours in the old Pueblo race course, a 17-mile trail, when they spotted the creature. It's a tough one, said G. Johnson, 34, a self-described business person from Tucson. It's a 24-hour track, so you better come prepared with more than enough food and water. There are times where you just want to go back and wish you had never gotten out there in the first place. But when you see what nature has to offer you, well, those regrets simply dissipate rather quickly. Johnson states that he and 2 other friends were halfway into the track when something terrifying made the group consider canceling the ride. We had been riding for about an hour. I don't know, maybe 2 hours. And taking breaks every now and again. Then Michael says he needed to stop for a minute. We were waiting for him to finish when all of a sudden we see a thing very long figure walking across the trail. He is maybe about 6 foot tall, very, very skinny, and had an awkward gait like a monkey or a man with a diseased, almost robotic kind of gait. Which I also find this interesting. This is one of the things I'm commonly concerned about is when people go to the bathroom. So apparently his buddies on this bike trip were only a couple hours into it when Michael had to pull over and take a shit. And then as Michael was taking a shit is when they saw this weird creature. According to
this guy, he starts out by saying it's a 24-hour, 17-mile trail.
I guess it's open for 24 hours.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Because if he's halfway through and he's been on it for an hour or two, then I'm like, all right, then what's the rest of it like?
Yeah. According to the witnesses, 2 of the men were watching the strange animal while the third one, Michael, was unaware of what was happening. You know why? Because he was busy taking a shit.
Most vulnerable period.
Convenient.
Then all I remembered about Michael is him saying, "What the hell is that?" Of course. What the hell is that?
What the fuck is that? What is that thing?
Leave me alone.
Oh my God, Jay. Holy shit.
He's a self-described businessman.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Then all I remember is Michael saying, "What is that?" or something like that. But he sounded far away. He probably used a different word instead of hell. Thing is, we had somehow walked a little towards the thing. Don't ask me why, maybe to get a better look at it, not knowing what it was. Then Johnson says the creature heard Michael speak and apparently taking notice of the intruders, its head took an eerie 280-degree turn. He stopped and it made eye contact with me, and I could see him clearly. The eyes were kind of like a snake's, but black, with a yellow stripe in the middle of the eyes. It had green and red scales on the face and head. The red color was kind of like the same of the desert sand, and it looked like it had a very sandy texture to it. It didn't have a nose, only 2 holes on it. I couldn't see any ears or hair. A red mouth that looked like it had blood around it, but it didn't look like it was bleeding. It looked like a pattern. It reminded me of a chameleon, but it looked like a person too. Allegedly, the creature raised its long arm with strange-looking claws that looked like a branch full of thorns, and waved it at them. Let's see, he was just waving high.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Hey guys,"
being neighborly,
and waved it at them, emitting a loud chattering sound with his teeth. Then it rapidly ran away in a fashion that reminded the witnesses of a lizard trying to hide. He took what he looked like what he was examining. He was examining us and then ran into the desert. We thought about going back the same way we came, but we thought it didn't matter since we were in the middle of the track anyways. Okay. It just goes on. So
it makes sense. If you're going to be out in the desert and stuff like that, like werewolves probably just evolved into lizards because it's like hotter and they're cold blood, and werewolves they like to hang out in colder climates.
What I don't understand about this, because this took place in like 2010 or 2012. I'm sorry. Is why wouldn't the self-described business people have GoPros on?
That or I mountain biked just last Saturday, and I had my phone with me. I almost brought my GoPro, but yeah, that's what people do.
Yeah, it's interesting. You never know what you're going to see on the trail. I recommend anybody take your GoPro or your phone on. Just go out there, film. You never know what you're going to get.
According to David Politis, you always should have your phone on you and a GPS and a gun.
Mm-hmm. I have all those things. Also, I wear full Kevlar in the woods, and I drive in a tank.
Yep.
Yeah.
I fly in a gyrocopter. I don't actually go hiking.
Yeah, I take an Apache attack helicopter when I go to the woods and go camping. And I sleep in that thing.
I'm serious about this Bigfoot shit, people.
Yeah, I'm not going to get abducted.
Yeah.
That's all I got on these humanoid strange encounters. I thought those are some pretty intriguing ones. And like I said, as with the Pennsylvania UFO Bigfoot casebook, you could say it's all fiction. Somebody could sit down and write all that shit. A lot of this is very diverse. You'd have to have a very creative mind to come up with all this shit. Now, granted, these could be all individual people being creative in their own time, and this guy just kind of put it all together. But I think these people are actually having genuine experiences, and I think they actually believe what they see. And
they fail to mention that they had eaten peyote before they got on the trail.
There was no mention of that, Joe. I didn't see that. There was no mention of that.
Well, maybe they're just trying to be, they're not lying if they omit information.
That is true. I do have another book. Hold on, let me see if I can get the name of this one.
Sounds like we got a reader.
So I got another book here, and I will be perusing this one. This is the Field Guide to Extraterrestrials, a complete overview of alien life forms based on actual accounts and sightings. We'll be looking at that one next week, so stay tuned, people.
Can we write a book together that's all about cryptid genitalia?
I would like to. I think we're the experts at this point.
I think it would sell like gangbusters.
Yeah. And we're artists. We could draw this stuff.
Genitalia?
Yeah.
It's artist's rendering of the goat man's penis.
Peepees and cacas and weebies.
Yes. I like that this lizard man guy, his eyes were not yellow with a black slit. They were black with a yellow slit. Whoa, now we're really edgy.
I guess. I'm trying to be, I'm trying to take a non-biased stance on this. I want to believe this shit, but it's hard to because there's no pictures. And like I said, there's no GoPro.
You're Mulder. I'm Scully here. It's fine.
I suppose so. I'll indulge and I'll continue to read this stuff and research this content for the listeners and for anybody else because I find it fucking interesting. This is some awesome, goofy, weird shit. That's outside the normal shit that is going on in the news. I don't see CNN talking about this giant, hairy Danny DeVito creature with a dick slung over his shoulder.
Frank Reynolds.
You ain't gonna get that on Fox News.